Hello, I'm Peter Repetto, Vice President of Investment Strategy at iCapital, sitting in for Anastasia on today's Spotlight segment. Joining me for a discussion on the AI landscape is my colleague, Pete Horacek, Head of Structured Investment Distribution at iCapital. Thank you for joining me today, Pete.
Great to be here, Peter. Thank you.
It's been an interesting few weeks with some of the news that we've got out of the AI landscape, specifically as it pertained to DeepSeek and what that meant for the AI theme more broadly speaking. How are you thinking about the space?
First of all, it's an exciting topic, but we came into work January 27th when the DeepSeek news came out. Knew it was going to be a very volatile day, and it really disrupted the AI space for a short period of time. And typically with structured investments, that's good. It's kind of like our Super Bowl came early because that volatility allows advisors to get creative with the type of products they create, with building custom notes. Take advantage of that volatility, strike at maybe better prices than the Friday before, and add some downside protection to the names that they're probably buying and they're probably long in their client portfolios. What are you seeing? What are clients asking you?
It's been interesting, right? To your point about all the market volatility, I think it came down to two key things is, wow, DeepSeek made a model for, really cheap. And then two, given that, the efficiency gains and how cheaply they're able to make this model, well, look at all the US companies that just invested billions of dollars into, large language models here in the US. So what does that mean for CapEx forecasts going forward? So I think those are really the two key areas where investors were questioning themselves throughout the rest of that week, just given the news. But Pete, thinking about kind of the structured investment landscape, how are investors really now viewing structured investments and really viewing structured investments for investing towards the AI theme after the DeepSeek news?
Good question. We had later that week, right? All of the firms, really the mega cap AI stocks come out and talk about earnings, and they kind of reiterated their CapEx spending in the space. So the volatility, was there for a couple of days, but with structured investments, they're so flexible, so customizable. It allows investors to really execute an idea. So take that volatility, monetize it. One such note that was built, custom note through iCapital, was what we call a catapult. It's a 5-year note on a basket of semi stocks that had some about 30% deep contingent protection on the note, 5-year note. If it's called in a year, if that basket is at or above the strike levels of that basket, you call that a 20%. If the note lives for another 4 years, it's 150% leverage on the upside.
Given the news and the market movements, I'm assuming you had a lot of client calls or client questions that came in. Maybe talk to me about what some of those conversations entailed, and were there any areas that there was maybe a pickup in client interest because of this market move that we saw?
I think, everybody's long, kind of the Mag 7 names. They all have different ways they're attacking AI, spending a lot of money on AI with CapEx expenditures. And most portfolios are long AI stocks. So again, structured investments really providing an opportunity to get that downside protection, but kind of an ancillary theme was cybersecurity. So we saw another note, which was a long-term note, investors believing that DeepSeek news and just the focus on AI and how much companies are spending on AI would be good for cybersecurity stocks. So this one advisor picked 2 leading names in the space, constructed a note that would provide significant yield, not growth like that first example, with 40 or 50% contingent downside protection on 2 names, leaders in the space that they were really bullish on. But instead of just going long in those names, really constructed a note that really gave them a lot of different components or benefits.
And given some of the market moves we saw, I'm sure that gives them some comfort.
Exactly.
Given what could happen in the future. We get a lot of questions on how has your view on AI changed, if at all, and we really don't see a reason to re-underwrite our view on AI. And thinking about some of the key verticals or subsets of the AI theme, we still feel positive on AI semiconductors, AI software, and as well as AI power. And if we think more about the infrastructure part of that basket, really semis and power side, we got the hyperscalers CapEx forecast last weekend, whereas there was a worry that maybe you could see revisions lower to those numbers. They actually increased those numbers on a year-over-year basis. So thinking about how that ties into, the need for more semiconductors or even data centers, right? That
And
demand,
power with nuclear
yeah,
and a lot of client
yeah,
conversations around that as well.
absolutely. And that demand is expected to double by 2026. So given that those forecasts are still rising, it seems like some of the targets that we have are achievable and, still feel pretty strongly about those themes. So thank you, Pete, today for your great insights. And thank you, Anastasia, for asking us to sit in on today's Spotlight segment.
Well, thanks, Pete and Peter, for this timely discussion about the ongoing opportunity we see in artificial intelligence infrastructure. And we'd like to hear from you. Send us an email at yourquestion@icapitalnetwork.com and let us know what questions are at the top of mind for you and your clients. I'm Anastasia Moroso, and thank you for joining us today on Beyond 6040. We'll see you next time.